What up, dog? I am Jay the Gentleman. That's at JAI the Gentleman on IG and Facebook. It's Wednesday, so this is a new episode of Dear Black Gay Men podcast. It's our short, bullshit-free step out of our comfort zone to talk about all the emotional ups and downs along the journey to happiness. Hopefully, this is our midweek reminder of how dope it is to be black gay men who love black gay men. I am Jay the Gentleman. This is Dear Black Gay Men podcast. Now let's get into the episode. There is some entanglement etiquette that I believe black gay culture needs to get clear on once and for all. Have you ever entangled with somebody? They ain't got no car. Hopefully they can host. Then they got the audacity to rush you. I was setting up an entanglement the other day. He and I have entangled before. It was great. We linked up once at his place. He introduced me to this drink, Orange Jameson. I normally like a regular Jameson on the rocks. If I'm feeling a little frisky, it'll be Jameson and ginger. But he had Orange Jameson, which I had never had before, and I fell in love with. We'll call it Hunch Punch for purposes of this conversation. I got over there the first go, laid in the bed, and he put on some movie on Netflix. I don't think either of us had an intention of actually watching the movie. We ended up entangling 4 times that night. It was so good. So, true to form, weeks later, I wanted to set up a time to do it again. This time, however, I invited him to my place, and in true Atlanta nigga form, the second that I say, "Why don't you come to me?" all of a sudden, his car in the shop. Because the sex was good, it was good enough for me to overlook that particular red flag. So against my better judgment, I offered to drive over to him. I told him when I was leaving. I gave him a particular time, and I kept up with it. I left at that particular time. When I got in the car, I confirmed that I was on my way. I asked him for his address again. He sent that to me. I thought all was good. So I drive over there. I live on one side of the city. His place is on the other side of the city. But as I'm pulling up, as I was putting my big ass car in a parallel parking street situation, I got a message from him. Now, a little more context. I have Apple CarPlay and my iPhone does not receive notifications while I'm driving. So I'm legitimately parked in the car, taking the phone off the charger, getting the keys to get out of the car, and I get a message that says, "Haven't heard from you in a while, so I'm heading to bed." I can't tell you how long it took me to sit in that car, staring at that phone, for me to realize why I was so triggered. This is a story about an entanglement, but sometimes what we really want is a deeper connection, which brings us to this week's sponsor. You see how I did that? This episode of Dear Black Gay Men podcast is brought to you in part by Shoot Your Shot Wednesdays, presented by the Gay Dating Coach and Better Way to Meet matchmaking service. Finding black gay men who are interested and eligible to date can be hard. So every week, the Gay Dating Coach goes live on YouTube and Instagram so eligible bachelors can shoot their shot. You come on, answer some dating questions from Lamont, the host, and if a match is tuning in, they'll either come on live to join you or they'll slide in your DMs. It's like virtual speed dating, specifically for same gender loving men. Shoot Your Shot Wednesdays goes live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on Instagram. You can follow at the Gay Dating Coach so you never miss a thing. Now, let's get back into the show. To recap, a bottom with no car canceled on me as I was pulling up to his goddamn house. I was floored, triggered. Now, I can hear everybody in the DMs talking about, well, tops ghost bottoms all the time. Hear me out. Let's broaden the conversation so we can get a little context. Our culture is set up to where we all think our time is valuable. Our time, our presence, our sacrifice, the work we do, who we are, is the most valuable. We see it every time somebody invites us somewhere. I would bet my bottom dollar that if you get an invitation to go to an undisclosed location,
tell me you're not coming without telling me you're not coming.
Who all over there? We'll see.
or if you the in the 35 plus crowd, is there food and do they have my kind of liquor? Or another example, next time you go to Bulldogs or some not so shishi frou clubbing spot in your city, I bet you probably gonna dumb down your outfit. You're not gonna put on your cute shoes or your cute clothes because you're better than that and you're just going to Bulldogs. There are many bottoms who think bottoming is harder or more of a sacrifice than topping. And interestingly enough, there are just as many tops who think topping is just as much work as bottoming. We all think what we do, who we are, how we are, is more important than our kinsmen. And of course we do. When we've been talked about and mistreated for being who we are, the obvious response is to overcorrect by thinking we are more and we are better. We take pride in our expression. We've had to work at taking pride in our expression. So sometimes we do so to an inappropriate degree. I do believe that Black gay culture is better, higher, doper than any other. But the gotcha is within our culture, among our kinsmen, we are all lateral. No one part of our culture has been shunned or cast out more than the other. For every bottom that has been shamed, there's a top who was bullied. For every femme queen that's been talked about, there's a butch queen somewhere that was kicked out of his, her, or their home. The need to compare battle scars is just a trauma response that I think is actually holding us back. It's weird that I got this lesson from a botched entanglement, but catch this. Imagine the roles were reversed. I was the top in this situation. So instead of him rushing me while I drove to him, what if I rushed him to Dush? What if I rushed his preparation process? Or what if mid-trip to him, after all of the preparation, he done dushed his life away to get free water, to get clear water and an accident-free entanglement? What if I was the one who ghosted him or canceled last minute? The key here is we both had to put in some preparation to make this entanglement happen. And because we both put in some work, we both got to be on the hook to be patient for however long the other person's preparation process takes. Now, I'm not going to debate that dushing and driving are the same level of preparation or sacrifice. That's a conversation for a different day. But in order for both of us to get what we wanted in this situation, we both had to be patient with the other person. And when one of us lost sight of the sacrifice, the work that the other person put in, both of us suffered. But I think the bigger lesson is this trauma competition that we're trapped in is the pits. Y'all can let me know if I'm reaching with this particular topic. Share this episode on your Instagram story, tag me in it at JAI the Gentleman, and let me know your thoughts on this one because I'm really curious. But I really don't think that this other person put all that much thought into why he canceled or whatever. I don't think he gave it the context of a trauma response like I am. He may have not given the situation at all as much thought as I have. I have a whole podcast about the topic. So clearly I'm thinking and rethinking exactly what's happening, trying to find the lesson. In our culture, we compare everything. If someone is weaker than us, they get bullied. If someone's more femme than us, they get shamed. If they are less stylish than us, they get read. If they are less educated, they get overlooked. If their skin isn't as clear, hair isn't as long, lashes not as long, makeup not as on fleek, they get chopped. Our culture, Black gay culture, is set up to believe that my time, my value, my sacrifice is greater than yours. Just like old boy. that I was trying to entangle with. He thought that his preparation for our entanglement was greater than mine. That gave him justification to try to rush me. And when he didn't get the response that he wanted, when he didn't hear from me when he wanted, when I wasn't moving as fast as he wanted, he canceled. And so from his perspective, so having put in more work, I'm using air quotes around that, he felt at liberty to cancel because I wasn't rising to the respect for his sacrifice that he was. He thought I was fucked up for keeping him waiting too long. I thought his no car having ass was fucked up because he canceled on me. But the real tea and all of that is we all a little fucked up. This is one little microcosm of fucked up shit. But if you blast that out to culture, we are all fucked up. We are all bruised. We're all battered. We're all scorned. We're all got issues with our parents. We all were bullied a little bit. We all wish that we were something different. We all want something, unless you really have a more evolved version of us. But as fucked up as we all are, the most important key is that we all still here. We're all making it through. We've all got more to do. We've all got more growth to grow, more evolution to evolve. And I truly believe that if we spent more time seeing ourselves in each other, rather than seeing our scars on each other, I bet we all be a little better off. We'd give a little more grace. We'd have a little more understanding. We'd have a little more compassion in our culture. And we wouldn't get so impatient or so triggered when the entanglement doesn't pan out the way our dicks and asses hoped it would. So, dear Black gay men, I am not my brother's keeper. Somebody wise at that. I am my brother. Unless we trying to fuck, then I'm a slut from the 90s. That was our show. Next time I'm going to be breaking down my kinks and where you can see me practicing them. It's about to be. I am Jay the Gentleman. That's at JAI the Gentleman on IG and Facebook. If this episode made you feel a little more dope, be sure to subscribe on YouTube, like the video, and share it with someone who needs a dopeness reminder. Dear Black Gay Men Podcast is new every Wednesday. You can stream it on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, or YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And thanks in advance for a 5-star rating. It really does help us find new listeners. We go live on YouTube every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern with our interview series, Dear Black Gay Men Live. So follow at Dear Black Gay Men on social so you never miss a thing. I am Jay the Gentleman. This has been Dear Black Gay Men Podcast, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.